G'day everyone, it's Cam here from First Brick Property Buyers Agency. Just thought I'd do a little quick video regarding what's happening in the property market in Australia on ground level, in terms of what's happening on the floor, taking out data. There's a lot of news reports, a lot of media reports with a lot of data coming out saying different things, and I thought I'd just share what I've been seeing over the last few weeks when we're going to properties, when we're looking at properties. I also thought it was quite a nice day today, and thought let's do this video outside, just to park in front of home, in front of the get out of the house, get out of the office with it. So when COVID first started, there was heaps of news regarding property market crash, and to be frank, there still is a lot of news about property market crashing, and it's kind of dependent on what side you are on, whether you thought the market was going to crash or not. But overwhelmingly, we saw reports, clickbait reports regarding 30% drops, 20% drops, and people, yelling fire, fire, evacuate, get out, get out. At First Brick, we did a few videos. We had a podcast as well surrounding what we predicted would happen during COVID and after COVID to the property market. Essentially what we said is for a crash to happen, there needs to be a couple of factors. And we're talking about a widespread nationwide crash such as the reports. We said essentially you need all these people to sell their properties and nobody to buy. Obviously throwing the supply and demand ratio out of whack. What's actually happening? What's happening now? I've got a few examples. You can make up your own decision whether we're in the middle of a property market crash or not. But I'll show you what we're seeing on ground level. Now, we were in the Brisbane market in the last few weeks working for a customer of ours. We have successfully found a property and we'll be sharing that property soon once everything goes through. We're just in due diligence stage. But the process of finding that property, obviously we have a lot of data, we do a lot of checks depending on the strategy. We make sure we are in very tightly held suburbs. We make sure we're in suburbs where the demand is high and supply is low. Right? We're in these suburbs where the market is going to increase. We hope. This is what we're finding. One property we found, we put an offer on a property. There were 17 offers on this property in a suburb in a pocket of Brisbane. 17 offers on a single property is unheard of. The final sale price was about $25,000 over what we had put an offer in, which was probably about, it was well over what the fair value was as well. That was just one property. In these pockets that we're in Brisbane at the moment as well, highly competitive, very, very competitive market. We are seeing properties go on and off, on and off, and on and off, on and off the market within a day, within 2 days, within 3 days, not even lasting the week. Obviously there are properties and suburbs in Brisbane or around the entire country that are not performing like this, but every market is different. There are markets within markets. Every suburb is different, every street is different, and that's why throwing out huge titles like Australian property market crash or Sydney market crash or Brisbane market crash is just ludicrous, absolutely ridiculous. You can't even make those statements because every suburb and every street is different. You have different streets within the same suburb performing differently. So that's some examples of Brisbane, and we've had to tap into our agent connections, get some off markets shown, some pre-markets as well, until we found the right fit, and make sure we pay a good price and try and get a good price, undervalued property, which we did. But that's just the scene in Brisbane over the last 2 weeks. Now in Sydney, we've been to over 45 properties in the last 2 weeks, just 45 properties for another customer, looking at certain styles of properties, very desirable properties. And over the last 2 weeks, I've gathered some numbers. The smallest number of people at these open houses was 7, which is not huge, a small amount of people. The average was 25 groups per house when we look at the average over the 45 properties we've been to in the last 2 weeks. And we had 3 properties that had well over 50 groups of people come in and out, which is a staggering amount of people for a climate which is considered to be crashing. If we're in a property market crash, we're not having well over 50 groups of people walk into a house, and property prices won't be what they are, won't be as competitive. There should be very little demand. In fact, what we're finding is demand is very great, it's very high, and it's competitive. It's hard to get in. Again, you might be thinking you went to a few properties, very little people there. Again, depends on where you are, depends where you're going, markets within markets. So we are finding those suburbs where it is competitive, where the prices will not be crashing, property prices will not be dropping, and in fact the opposite is going to occur. We went to a few auctions as well where the winning price was well over reserve in every single auction that we attended over the last 2 weeks. The sale price was well over reserve, and in fact well over fair value as well. I have an example of a property that went on the market on a Wednesday. There was no inspection date set, and we spoke to the agent. We know the agent, we've purchased from the agent before. We said, hey mate, Dave, can we get in? We want to have a look at this property. He said, mate, I've had so many people call me and inquire about this property. We're doing an open home tomorrow, Thursday afternoon, 7 p.m. No problem, let's rock up, let's have a look, see what's going on. Thursday, 7 p.m, the property was on the market for less than 24 hours. Less than 24 hours, and there was over 100 people at this open house within less than 24 hours on a Thursday night in a southwest Sydney suburb. Property sold that day, that night, Thursday night, for well over, again, what the vendors were asking for. 100, I sat at the front, I was there 20 minutes early, and before me there was already 10 or 20 people that had gone through, and after I had gone through, I just sat and counted well over 100 groups, not 100 people, 100 different groups had come through this property. So just thought I'd give a little bit of a state of play of what's happening on the floor in Sydney and Brisbane, what we're seeing anyway in the market. We're obviously in very specific markets and targeting very specific properties and markets that we believe are in demand, and what we're seeing is that's happening. Very competitive, hard to get in, and those are the signs of a good market, a market that's going to be on the up, not on the down. So property market crash, I don't think so. A bit of clickbait. If the area you're in is crashing, you're probably not in the best area. I'll be careful what you see in the media, what you read in the media. Do your own due diligence, do your own research, get your own education. Listen to the First Brick Property Podcast, the #1 property podcast there is. Give us a call if you want to have a chat, if you want to ask some questions. We're happy to help. Even if you just got a couple of questions about what's happening in certain areas of the market, what we think is a good idea, or what we think is a good strategy, what we're seeing, what our teams are seeing on the ground floor. Happy to help. Give us a buzz. If you want to give us a call regarding buying an investment property or an unoccupied property, or just getting some help, just reach out to us. Comment on this video, call us, text us, email us, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, wherever we're everywhere. Give us a message, and we'll more than happy to help out. We love seeing people succeed in the property market and doing things right. So don't be afraid. And if you like this kind of video and you'd like to get on the floor market updates on what we're seeing, we do see so many properties. We're in the market every single day. Feel free, reach out, let us know these are the kind of videos that you like, and we'll keep doing it. We are for the people, we're about educating, and of course we'd love to help you on your property journey and build a property portfolio and create wealth. So give us a buzz, leave a comment, leave a review, whatever you'd like, let us know. If you want a message and say, hey KM, your beard's looking strong today, we'll take that as well. So thanks for listening, and that's the property market update from the floor, from First Brick's point of view. Ciao.